Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today, we are diving into one of the most shocking and alarming developments coming out of Russia, the projection that up to 70,000 soldiers may desert the Russian military in 2025. This is not just a statistic, it signals a deep crisis within the Russian armed forces and a serious blow to Putin's power, morale, and ability to continue the war in Ukraine. In this video, we will explore why so many soldiers are refusing to fight, how the government is desperately trying to stop them, the impact on future military operations, and what this could mean for the future of the war and Russia itself. Russia has been fighting in Ukraine for nearly 3 years, and the initial surge of patriotism and propaganda has faded. What remains is a harsh reality: endless casualties, poor leadership, outdated equipment, and a lack of clear objectives. Soldiers are exhausted, overworked, and underpaid. Many have been on the front line for months without rotation. Some haven't even received the basic supplies needed to survive. It's no surprise that thousands of soldiers have already tried to escape. In 2024 alone, reports suggested up to 30,000 desertions. But now, analysts warn that the number could double or even surpass 70,000 in 2025, making it one of the biggest military desertion crises in modern history. Why is this happening? Let's start with the brutal conditions. Russian soldiers describe trenches filled with mud, freezing temperatures, constant shelling, and no medical support. Many units are sent on suicidal attacks known as meat assaults, where they are forced to advance directly into Ukrainian artillery and drones. The death toll is staggering, and soldiers know they are being used as disposable tools. Survivors often return with trauma, injuries, and no support. Some soldiers say their commanders treat them worse than prisoners. Others say they weren't even told where they were being sent until they arrived in Ukraine. On top of that, the Russian government keeps extending contracts. Many soldiers signed up for 6 months or 1 year, but now they are being told they cannot leave until the war ends. Legally, they are trapped. Some have been on the front line for 2 full years without a break. Families are begging the government for their return, but officials refuse. This has caused anger not just among soldiers, but across the population. Mothers and wives are organizing protests and petitions, demanding their sons be brought home. Despite strict censorship, these voices are growing louder. Another major reason for the desertions is corruption and incompetence within the military. Money meant for equipment is stolen by officers. Supplies never reach the front. Some soldiers buy their own gear using personal savings. Food is often expired or insufficient. Soldiers are also forced to obey orders from inexperienced commanders who don't care about lives and simply follow political pressure. Troops feel abandoned and betrayed. Many say they are not fighting for their country. They are fighting for the survival of their own commanders' reputations. But perhaps the biggest issue is motivation. In the beginning, soldiers were told they were defending Russia from NATO and fighting Nazis. But over time, they realized these were lies. They saw destroyed Ukrainian cities and innocent civilians. They began to question why they were there. There is no clear victory in sight. The front line barely changes. Soldiers see their friends dying for small pieces of land that are lost again weeks later. Morale is at rock bottom, and many would rather risk prison than die in a pointless war. So how are soldiers escaping? Some run away during rotations. Others bribe border guards or fake medical reports. Some hide in abandoned buildings or flee to neighboring countries like Kazakhstan, Georgia, or Armenia. There are even underground networks helping Russian soldiers desert, similar to the escape routes used by political dissidents. Many deserters say they would rather start a new life abroad than return to the battlefield. Some publicly speak out, exposing war crimes and corruption. Putin's government is panicking. To stop desertions, they have increased punishments. Desertion can now result in up to 15 years in prison. Russia has special military police units called barrier troops that stand behind the front line and shoot any soldier who tries to retreat. This is similar to Stalin's tactics during World War II. The government also passed new laws allowing soldiers to be tried in military courts even if they flee abroad. They are even seizing passports to stop soldiers from traveling. Despite all this, the desertions continue. In response, Russia has started recruiting prisoners, migrants, and foreigners. They offer huge salaries and promises of citizenship. But even these recruits quickly realize the truth, and many also try to escape. Some migrants were tricked into signing military contracts at government offices. Others were told they were applying for normal jobs and ended up in Ukraine. This kind of recruitment only increases anger and distrust among the population. If up to 70,000 soldiers desert in 2025, the impact will be massive. First, Russia will struggle to hold its defensive lines. Ukraine has been increasing its long-range strikes, targeting command centers, air bases, and supply networks deep inside Russia. With fewer soldiers and low morale, defending these positions will be extremely difficult. Ukraine could exploit the weakness and make major breakthroughs similar to the counteroffensives of 2022. Russia might have no choice but to mobilize even more men, including students and older citizens. Second, desertions will weaken Russia's image globally. A strong military is part of Putin's identity. He presents himself as a powerful leader who controls everything. But if tens of thousands of soldiers are running away, the world will see the cracks in his system. Countries that support Russia, like North Korea or Iran, may start doubting his strength. Western countries will feel more confident to supply Ukraine with advanced weapons. Military desertion is not just a battlefield issue, it becomes a political embarrassment. Third, the desertions could fuel internal unrest. As more soldiers and families become angry, the chance of protests increases. We have already seen small demonstrations by soldiers' wives demanding their husbands return home. If the numbers grow, the government may struggle to hide the truth. Social media is making it harder to silence these voices. Some soldiers are uploading videos criticizing the war and refusing orders. This kind of resistance could spread. Desertion also affects technology and training. Experienced soldiers leaving the military means Russia loses knowledge on how to operate advanced weapons. New recruits are not trained properly and are sent to the front with minimal preparation. This leads to more casualties and more desertions, a cycle that weakens the entire army. Even Putin's elite units like the paratroopers and special forces have been severely damaged. It may take Russia a decade to recover from these losses. Looking ahead, 2025 could be the turning point. If desertions continue at this pace, Russia will face a manpower crisis. Yes, the government can force mobilization, but forced soldiers fight poorly. History shows that armies built on fear and punishment eventually collapse. Soldiers need belief, purpose, and trust in their leaders, and right now, the Russian military has none of that. Some analysts believe this internal crisis could push Putin toward riskier actions, such as escalating the war or using new forms of warfare to compensate for his weaker ground forces. Others think he might secretly look for a peace deal while pretending to stay strong. Either way, the situation is becoming unsustainable. The world is watching closely. Ukraine continues to fight with determination, supported by NATO training and modern technology. Meanwhile, Russia's army is exhausted, divided, and bleeding from within. Desertion is not just a personal decision. It is a message from thousands of soldiers saying, "This war is wrong and we don't want to die for it." In the end, the projection of 70,000 desertions is more than a number. It represents the collapse of trust between soldiers and the state. It shows the breaking point of a military pushed beyond its limits. Putin's worst nightmare is not just losing on the battlefield, it's losing the loyalty of his own army. And that nightmare may already be beginning. Thank you for watching. If you found this video informative, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more deep dives into global events. Let me know in the comments what you think about this situation and what it could mean for the future of the war. Stay tuned, and I'll see you in the next video.